Welcome to our online event, Creating Greener Working Environments. I'm presenting 6 easy solutions for businesses and schools. I'm Lindsay Blackburn with DriveMind. We are an organization that focuses on helping facilities in 3 major areas: safety and security, green cleaning, and innovative cleaning technologies, as well as engagement. We pride ourselves on the fact that we have researched and vetted the best-in-class solutions in the marketplace to solve your common facility issues and concerns. Our number one priority is enhancing the health, safety, and sustainability of your community. And we do this by supporting and supplying and serving different types of organizations all across the United States. Our leadership is J.R. Supez. He is the co-founder and president. Jim Bostic, co-founder and VP of operations, and myself, I'm the VP of training and development. So let's get into it. Most of you watching have some type of role as a facility leader in your organization. You might be a superintendent, you might be in operations or maintenance, or some other kind of executive in your organization that deals with your facilities. A common question we ask folks in your position is, what are some things that worry you? What's keeping you up at night? And these tend to be the top 5 responses. Number 1, everyone's health. Number 2, and safety. These sometimes get swapped as number 1 and 2. Whether it's employees, students, visitors, custodians, all kinds of different folks coming and going, and some spending a lot of time in your facility too, which probably includes you as well, I'm guessing. We want everyone to be healthy and safe in our facilities. Number 3, the budget is always a concern. And one that is sort of related to that is manpower. This is an issue related to labor, finding the right people, keeping the right people, training them, making sure that the people you have you're maximizing them and keeping them happy. And lastly, perception often comes up. As a leader, you perhaps are concerned about how the community views what's going on in your organization and how things are run. When they walk into your spaces, how does it look? How does it smell? How does it feel to be there? Is it welcoming? Is it safe? Is it healthful? Does it feel good? At DriveMind, we work with all kinds of different organizations, and they have one thing in common. They're people-y places. That's how I like to refer to them. Schools, athletic locations, nursing homes, co-working spaces. It's a pretty wide range. But consider the average school. You have a cafeteria, gym, classrooms, nurses' stations, restrooms, locker rooms, weight rooms, etc. All of those areas are a concern in terms of what we're doing to keep our people healthy and also safe. These are also places where perceptions are happening. And many of these, the community is coming in and seeing and experiencing what's going on. So if our focus here is on creating greener working environments, I think it's important that we actually clarify some of the terms and concepts. So we're going to divert here and talk about that for a second. Sustainability. In today's world, I feel that some people are getting terms like going green actually muddled with sustainability. What does sustainability even mean? If you Google what is the definition of sustainability, you'll actually see a lot of different answers. And I'm certain that's because our global understanding of all this is continuously evolving. I think what people think is it has something to do with, going green, but it's actually much more complicated than that. Sustainability includes, like this Venn diagram is showing, environmental issues, social issues, economic issues. In this graphic here, both simplifies and I suppose exemplifies the complexity of how sustainability is being defined right now. The very colorful graphic here on the right is from the United Nations. They recently released their 17 Sustainable Development Goals that they're hopeful the planet will embrace. And it includes some of the things you might think, like keeping the environment green and climate action. But it also includes a lot of other things too, reducing hunger across the world, gender equality, peace, social justice, sanitation, governments and infrastructure. So it's really actually quite complex. And creating greener workplaces is just one of the myriad ways to make an impact in the movement. So kudos to you for even being interested in this event and watching this replay. In support of such initiatives, there are quite a few organizations like the U.S. Green Building Council. They do what's called LEED certification. Buildings are ranked by a point system, and they earn a certain amount of points hitting certain LEED certification levels. And it's a pretty rigorous program. There's also the U.S. Department of Education, Green Ribbon Schools. You're likely familiar with the concept of blue ribbon schools, which perform well in academics and graduation rates and test scores. Green ribbon schools are actually performing well in the area of going green and purposefully implementing things that help the environment, as well as teaching curriculum that's focused on this movement. When we think about how we would do that, there's lots of organizations out there to help you do it. I've listed some of them here, but of course, this list is not exhaustive. Green Schools Initiative, Healthy Green Schools and Colleges, Ed Infrastructure at the Department of Education, the National Department of Education. Green Strides, ASHE is an organization that helps higher ed. And of course, I already mentioned the U.S. Green Building Council. So perhaps you've thought about going green already. Maybe you've even begun to put some of these initiatives into place. Some of these are low-hanging fruit, right? Let's look at this list together. Your school or organization could recycle. We'll do recycling, composting, or go paperless. Could reduce the amount of photocopying you're doing, or switch from paper towels to hand dryers, things like that. Or you've had someone come in and do an audit on your utilities, your electricity, your usage, any savings. And so the conversation might be about choosing different lighting or different light bulbs, powering down devices more in the evenings, all your technology equipment, etc. Talking about water, conserving water, utilizing runoff water, maybe looking at other alternative forms of energy for your facility, solar, wind, and also auditing your supply chain, where you're getting things from, where you're buying stuff, making savvier buying decisions. And then, of course, you can start initiatives like promoting biking or carpooling, taking public transportation, creating community gardens, maybe partnering with other community projects that are already going on in your area, or partnering with people or groups that have been focusing on green initiatives already. You could even create your own green committee or sustainability group to start looking at some of these things. Now, these are all good, right? If you've done any of these, again, kudos, hats off, really for taking the lead on these, or maybe our students have led these projects. Every little bit, that's my philosophy. Every little bit is going to help, but these initiatives or these types of things also require leadership and people to help. And if you're going to do a community event or activity, you've got a whole bunch of things to think about. So this could add a lot of things to your plate, right? Or to your teacher's plate, or your facility managers, or your custodial team, or whatever you're going for. The whole reason I wanted to host this event was to have you think about some other solutions that could also move you in the direction of creating healthier, safer spaces. There are easy solutions. So we want you to be sleeping more soundly. We started with the slide of what keeps you up at night. So what's going to check off some boxes here for health, safety, budget, manpower, and perception? Let's talk about those things. All right. We're thinking about your facility from top to bottom and honestly, everywhere in between. What we're going to do with everything from our floors to what's going on up in at the ceiling level. What are we touching? What are we breathing? All those things. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. So with that said, let's start with the flooring. The first thing here is about refinishing or redoing the annual maintenance required for your floors. So if you have linoleum, concrete, some kind of stone, like tile, terrazzo, or the newer product, the LVP luxury vinyl plank, there's a constant upkeep of the finishings of your flooring. They probably take a beating day in and day out. So between annual cleaning and in some cases, stripping, waxing, buffing, there's a lot of product that you use to do that. So you've got these pricey product purchases for upkeep, as well as the manpower to do all of this work. And believe it or not, there's actually a safety issue. 2 levels of that. When floors are refinished, it can cause quite a bit of indoor air pollution, as well as after the fact. Some types of floor finishes are high slip and fall hazards. So as you can tell, this is all adding up, right? So looking at a solution to this issue by choosing a more sustainable floor finishing product, you're going to reduce your costs. And the solution that DriveMind offers is called Epic. This is going to eliminate the need for annual stripping, buffing, and a whole slew of other maintenance on your floors. You only need 1 application every 3 to 5 years, which will obviously mean a dramatic reduction in your costs, less product to purchase, less often, and less people needed for application, only once every 3 to 5 years. This product also ensures a non-slip traction and improves safety by minimizing that annual release of dust chemicals and bacteria that are built up in your floors. So overall, this is a more sustainable solution from start to finish. Let's use our checklist. Is it better for health? Yes. Is it better for safety? Yes. Is it better for your budget? Yes. And the perception? Absolutely. I'll tell a quick story. We had an office building use this at the start of the year. They had put it back in I'm thinking school years here, so in the fall, and we're now in the spring, and it looks literally like the day after they did it. It's very durable, and one of the choices is a glossy finish, so it will keep that shine as well. And there are many case studies, additional case studies we can share about the different types of floors and different types of facilities. It's a really great solution across the board. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hand soap. I had a charter school recently tell me, a small charter school recently tell me, yep, we use a lot of soap. And that's all I really needed to hear to know that, soap is something that's used every day. And it sounds crazy. It's impacting your budget and the environment. So let me explain here. As you can see in this image, the top 3 pictures of the soap containers also have a image of the inside packaging. That's the actual soap that goes inside of those wall units. These are traditionally what we see in most buildings. These are very wasteful. Those cubes and bags are made of single-use plastic. It's not recycled or recyclable unless it's completely washed out, which means typically it would need to be cut open to do that. And I don't know anyone who's doing that. Also, it's very hard to get out the last bit of soap. So oftentimes the custodial staff just essentially opens up the wall unit, takes out what's left in that plastic container, and they just throw it in the trash. And so you're paying for wasted product. Essentially, it's literally going right in the trash. You're also paying for water. If you think about this, the soaps are pre-mixed. So we're shipping and storing a whole lot of water around the globe. We're literally shipping right? Like, why are we shipping water? We don't have to. So the greener alternative on all these fronts is what we're offering here through DriveMind is Soap 2.0. Soap 2.0 is the world's most sustainable hand soap. These little super pods, which look like raindrops here on the slide, mix with water on site, which eliminates the single-use plastics altogether. That's the first big win. You're also reducing your cost with less transport costs and your storage needs. One pallet of these pods is the equivalent of 42 pallets of the traditional soaps I was just talking about. So what happens and how this works is that the pod gets dropped into that large black handheld container with water, and it is shaken up for about 30 seconds, depends on which of the pods that you have. And that becomes your refill jug. The Soap 2.0 wall units open up and they're just being refilled each time. We can also do the countertop pumps, as you see there, and also the kind that goes under the counter, where the canister is below the countertop and the pump is right next to the faucet. All of those are options. One pod makes about 1 gallon of soap, and it's ready in less than a minute. That film around the pod is also dissolvable in water, and they arrive to your door in recyclable packaging. Yay for that. There's no animal testing, and these are safer soaps as well, using all natural ingredients. This is quite a game changer in terms of making an impact in your facility and the environment. So let's go back to our checklist. Is this a healthy product? Yes. Safe? Yes. Reducing budget significantly. Of course, we can run you some numbers for what you're currently paying for soap versus what Soap 2.0 would cost you. Loose numbers we're seeing is about a reduction by half to 2/3 of your soap budget. As for manpower, this is actually a slight increase in what your custodians will have to do, one extra step of shaking up the refill bottle, but there's also some other savings in terms of manpower when you think about the moving of the pallets and things like that. So overall, that part probably evens itself out. The perception, people are going to be pretty impressed with Soap 2.0. That's the feedback we're getting from organizations that have already put this in place. All right, enough about soap. Let's go to talking about a green cleaning solution. Number 3, this is an innovative way to ditch harsh chemicals in your entire building. Basically, daily use of harsh chemicals is a hazard to all the people in your facility, adults, kids, and the environment. Harsh chemicals come with warning labels, which run the gamut, everything from breathing and lung concerns, skin and eye reactions, and of course, the indoor air quality, which we call VOCs, or volatile organic compounds. These, they pose dangers to humans, plants, animals. Additionally, when we think about the impact to the environment, when a mop bucket is done being used, it's emptied, or a toilet is flushed with cleaning product in it, all of those harsh chemicals are being rinsed down the drain. Most traditional cleaning products also tend to contribute to our global plastic consumption and waste, as we talked about with the soap, the shipping and the storage, and the wasteful heavy jugs and plastic containers. So what to do about all that is to find a green cleaning solution that's cost efficient too. And we also, perhaps more importantly, is we want that cleaning solution to be effective, meaning that it kills what we need it and want it to kill. Extra side bonus here is that it is sustainable. Tersano is the secret sauce. It is checking off all of those boxes. Tersano is a Canadian product that is very popular in Europe and Asia already. And what they have done is pioneered the use of stabilized aqueous ozone, sometimes also known as SAO. SAO is essentially electrolyzed water, which is an extremely safe and powerful cleaning product. The cartridges, which is the black canister that you see hanging on the wall there next to the gray box, those wall units produce up to 800 gallons of cleaning solution. So once installed, you're looking at about 48 cents per gallon for cleaning solution, which you can't even buy cheap bleach at the grocery store for that amount. And side note, cheap bleach actually doesn't even kill what we need it to kill. Perhaps another meeting, we can talk about that. So what's great about this is it is on-site generation. You can generate as much as you want, whenever you want, with almost zero waste or harm to people on the planet. All you need for the connection is a standard electrical outlet and a cold plumbing line. Tersano was actually the first company to achieve the Green Seal 37 and 53 approvals. Tersano, the name actually means ter for earth and sano meaning health. This technology is used all over the globe across every major industry. Organizations like Stanford University, Google, Microsoft, Heathrow Airport, Campbell Soup, Domino's Pizza, Shell Corporation, the Louvre Museum, and perhaps most ironically, Procter and Gamble, who makes cleaning chemicals. They use Tersano. This solution can essentially eliminate 95% of the cleaning products in your facility because it can be used on all flooring types, equipment, including technology. It can be used in kitchens, eating areas, all high-touch surfaces, door handles, lockers, tabletops, desks, all types of furniture and fabrics. It works great on glass, and it is perfect in restrooms as well. I want to take a quick second to talk about what that diamond is down below. You may have seen this diamond or have some familiarity with it, like from the back of a truck, like a fuel truck. There's numbers and letters inside that diamond. The highest number that can be is 4, and the letters in the bottom white section all mean something different. There's a big cheat sheet available online for those who need it. The lowest rating is a 000A, which is an extremely healthy and safe product. And that's what Tersano is, a 000A. You can literally eat it and be okay. It's really incredible. So again, going to our checklist, is this healthy? Yes. Is it safe? Yes, extremely. Is it budget conscious? Absolutely. Does it reduce manpower? Similar to the soap, there may be an extra step to implement and train, but overall it is easy to use, quite effective, and it is so much healthier for your janitorial and sanitation department in every way that they are benefiting extremely from using it. And for perception, I'm certain that everyone will be quite pleased. We have an organization that uses this and they call it their magic water. Of course, implementing something this different takes time for people to see the light, if you will. But this one has so many benefits. It's simply hard to find fault with it. Okay, number 4 of 6, cleaning applications. In most places, still, cleaning application is quite antiquated. When I go to a restaurant or hospital or my child's daycare, I see everyone using the traditional spray, rag, and wipe method. So they have a spray bottle, they have a towel or rag of some sort, and they just keep spraying and wiping and spraying and wiping and spraying and wiping. This is not only slow, but it's actually ineffective at mitigating the issues that you are trying to clean. You can see in the picture up top, a comparison. This is using a black light. The gentleman in the first photo used the spray and wipe method, and those were the results. Very random, right? He got some areas very well, others not so much. Definitely some areas missed, which in a bathroom could be a concern. The bottom pictures show the use of a sprayer. So this is an electrostatic sprayer. What happens is that the mist inside is electrically charged. And I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to get too sciencey here. But what happens is that electrically charged mist is attracted to what it's being sprayed on. So it essentially is wrapping itself around whatever you're spraying on. So if you spray a tabletop with the old method, using your dirty rag to wipe the spray around, it's not so effective. But if you use an electrostatic sprayer, it's actually wrapping itself. It's getting to all parts of that table. When combined with the use of a green cleaning solution like Tersano that I just talked about, this sprayer is going to do incredible work. You can get these units in handhelds, backpacks, as well as wheel carts. You fill them with your green cleaning solution, and within seconds, you are ready to rock. I want to share two charts with you that will boggle your mind. And they did for me several years back when I learned about this. In this comparison chart, we're looking at other ways of cleaning, like using UV light or just wipes. Some people have been using those machines that they wheel into space and there's a mist of H2O2. And you can see that there's a big comparison here versus the electrostatic spraying. It's much more effective at getting the job done. This is the other chart that I still can't honestly believe, but it's been tested. If you're trying to cover a large area, look at how efficient this is. You would need one person with the eMist sprayer. That is the brand of sprayer that we rep, called eMist. It could cover 54,000 square feet in 1 hour using only 1 gallon of cleaning solution, versus on the far left, 17 people with a rag and a spray bottle using 39 gallons of cleaning solution covering only 3,125 square feet. So there is no question that using electrostatic in combination with something like electrolyzed water is going to meet all of those things that we talked about. Back to our checklist. Is it healthy? Promotes health? Yes. Safe? Yes. Meets and helps your budget? No question. Manpower? Pretty obvious. And perception, you're going to see your places are going to be cleaner, faster, and your staff, your cleaning staff is probably going to be quite happy with the solution as well. All right, 2 more things to talk about. Remember, we're going top to bottom and bottom to top and everything in between. So what's going on in between is, of course, related to cleaning, but it's also related to air. Indoor air quality. There have been multiple studies, especially since the pandemic, about indoor air quality affecting the health of everyone in your facility. And it's actually very hard to understand indoor air quality because you have no way of knowing what's lurking in your air. Air is tricky because we can't see the things, right? Sometimes we can smell the things, but it's not like a dirty surface where we can see a dirty floor, for example. With air, we don't really know what's floating around. So we need simple, effective ways to remediate the air quality issues. And we need the solution to be low maintenance and safe. We also need a way to be able to monitor the air once we have a clean air solution. So DriveMind has an exclusive partnership with 2 companies, which I'm going to talk about right now. This first solution is from Extreme Microbial Technologies, and it is an innovative set of solutions that utilizes an electrolyzed hydrogen peroxide. This technology is active versus passive. I'm going to talk about that more in a second. This solution is able to mitigate viruses, bacteria, pathogens, molds, mildews, allergens, and VOCs. These are plug-in units that can be moved around, or they can be put in line in your HVAC system. These two boxes here cover different amounts of square feet. It's actually measured in cubic feet. Square feet is just the area. Cubic feet is the actual space, which is what you're trying to fill when you're mitigating indoor air issues. If you're going inline HVAC, it's going to be obviously getting to all of your square footage. This is super easy to use in every one of your spaces. The plug-in units are mobile. You can move them from space to space. You can hang them on the wall. Very, very simple technology and very low maintenance. So what does cleaning your air actually mean? I want to talk about briefly the size of the particles in your air. And again, Lindsay Blackburn, not a scientist, but I'm able to talk briefly and understand this enough to be able to explain it to other people who are just learning about this. Most people understand the concept of an air filter, right? Air is going to pass through the filter to be cleaned. But if you zoomed in really, really close on an air filter, you would see, like this picture here, this graphic, a net or a web, right, of string. This obviously serves as an analogy. Certain size particles will absolutely get caught by the filter, but the small ones will not. They will go right through the net, right through the filter. And the truth is that air filters are not catching everything. The majority of air filters don't even catch the smallest. Like if you look at the size of the COVID particles, they're like so small that they would have gone through air filters anyways. These are passive technologies, meaning air has to pass through for the air to be cleaned. And herein lies the major difference with extreme microbial technologies. This solution is active. It's emitting something into the air, more specifically, the electrolyzed hydrogen peroxide, super tiny microscopic mist, latching on to the particles in the air, disabling them. The way that we know this is happening is by way of a unit called the bioaerosol monitoring system, which we refer to as the BAMS unit. And that's this little radio looking box here. This can be placed in a space and run for a handful of minutes. And what it does is produce a reading, which shows the bioload, how much is in the air, and the different size of the particles in the air in that space. The clean air technology from EMT can then be run for 15-20 minutes. It's going to start going after all the stuff floating in your air. And then we can run the BAMS unit again, and you'll see a reduction in the particles. So this graph chart over here with the yellow circle and the blue circle and the green and red shows the impact, the size particle, how many, what's the bioload, how much of that particle they found. And then once they run the BAMS unit, if it's reduced it by up to half, that's, considered a safe level or not based on those particles. So can you see how this is like extremely helpful in knowing what's in the air and also increasing your confidence that it's being taken care of by the clean air technology? Pretty amazing. Molds, mildews. A lot of people are in old buildings. We went to a school. The teacher reported she teaches dance and PE in the basement. There was literally mold growing through the mats that were on the gym wall. So something like this is once the mold is removed, something like this is going to help keep that from happening again. Much of the country in the last couple of years has also dealt with smoke from wildfires. This is a great solution for that as well. Genuine issues that affect people every day. The sickness, the sneezing, the passage of the germs is insane. And once you start learning about this stuff, you will want EMT units, not only in your facility, but also in your home. So I want to share this quick comparison chart with you. During pandemic, there was a lot of talk about different types of clean air technology, whether it was ozone or UV or ionization, sometimes called bipolar ionization. The truth of the matter is that a lot of those technologies fall short in one way or another what we're trying to do. So this is a very helpful chart which shows the different goals and how each technology stacks up. And what you'll see in this case is that the EMT solution meets all of those expectations. And because I like consistency, let's just go back to our checklist real quick. Installing an active air technology would help the health of your buildings. Yes. Safe for all, it is. The budget, a lot of sides to weigh in here, but real quickly, if you have less sick people in your facility, that's probably helping all three of these things: health, budget, manpower, perception. I guess that's 4 things. So you're benefiting in many ways that might not be so obvious at first in installing some solution like this. It also is extremely low maintenance. I haven't talked about that yet. A lot of clean air technologies require very expensive filters that need to be replaced quite often. That's not the case here. These units have internal cells that only need to be replaced about once every 2 years. And they can be run 24/7, 365, and you'll still only need that type of maintenance. They do contain a cover, a filter that just protects the inside components of the units, but those can be taken out quickly. They can be rinsed, dried, and then set right back in. So there's not a lot of that maintenance that we see with other types of technologies. All right, and wrapping this up, just want to talk about the perception for a second. I worked with a daycare who used this as part of their marketing. They had a very innovative clean air technology. And I can tell you that no other daycare in that community had that type of technology. So if I'm a mom, which I am, I'm trying to select a facility for my kids, that could make a big difference. And I think this would be true for a nursing home, hospital as well. It shows great concern and care for your staff and customers having something like this to help keep everyone well. All right, let's finish up here with the last, this one will be a little bit short because I've spent quite a bit of time talking already about air quality. Because monitoring your air quality is basically a daily endeavor, having a simple thing to help you do that is going to be very helpful. This measurement unit is different than the one I mentioned earlier. The BAMS unit is a little bit bulky and a little bit complicated. It's not something that you would use every day. It's only used at the beginning of your process as like a pre-assessment tool, then maybe again to see the impact. But these little things here are called canaries. And these are USB powered devices. They're very simple, plug and play, pretty small. It can be put in a lockbox. You see it there for safety or to reduce vandalism if that's something you'd be worried about. This is able to accurately monitor and identify all your indoor air quality issues, all the different particle sizes. It also picks up on different smoke. So if you have concerns with vaping, e-cigs, THC use, anything like that, it's going to help you monitor and be more aware of what's going on. It keeps a log, a data log. It can be used across your different buildings. You would have an online hub where you can see all that data. It can send alerts via text, email, depending on what's going on or how you set it up on the back end to alert you if there's an issue. So Canary, again, promoting health, safety, and most certainly perception issue. I definitely would say for schools in particular that this is also impacting the manpower issue, because a lot of schools right now with vaping are having to have administrators or teachers like stand at the restrooms to monitor if kids are smoking in the bathrooms or the stairwells or whatever. Canary can help you do that instead of having actual people there. So yay for that. All right. All very interesting. This is fun work that we do. Okay. We usually have a Q&A session here because you're watching the recording. I'm just going to do a couple quick questions that often come up, but I want to encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to chat more with you about any of these things. So the first question we commonly get is, all of this sounds really terrific, but you know, it costs money. One thing I would encourage you to consider here is new spend versus current spend. With cleaning products, the soap 2.0 that we talked about as an example here. This is just a matter of looking at what you're already spending, how you're spending it, and then how you're going to choose to spend it in a different way on solutions that are not only more cost effective, but also better for people and the planet. We do get the question about grants. So the answer to that question is sometimes. Of course, it depends on your state and the category of the grant. But for example, the EPA has a clean indoor air initiative with a grant for clean air improvements that might be a good option for your organization. In many states, there's also grants for like school safety or other types of programs that are helping workers, like from the State Bureau of Workers' Comp, for example. So those would be things to keep an eye out for. Additionally, we see that for unique green initiatives, sometimes local companies or foundations are willing to support your work because you're aligned with their goals for sustainability or green initiatives. So I would say don't be shy to ask around about that. All right, FAQ number 2. I mentioned 6 different companies or manufacturers that we work with. And the question often is, should we reach out to those vendors directly? No, please don't do that. We have exclusive partnerships with all these manufacturers, which means that we're able to get match pricing, or in some cases, even better pricing than if you went right to them directly. So I understand, you know, maybe you want to check out their website or get some additional information, but DriveMind really can support you all the way through from start to finish. We use a consultative approach at the beginning all the way through to the ordering, install if you need it, making sure all your folks are trained, etc. We want the implementation to go well. So we're basically that sort of one-stop shop. Another question we get is, I'd like my operations person or my facilities director, school leader to hear about this. Yes, absolutely. Most often when we begin conversations, there are multiple people engaged, of course, and the decision-making process requires a team. We totally get that. So we're happy to hop on any kind of virtual meeting, or feel free to share this recording with them. DriveMind is, we're headquartered in Canton, sorry, not Canton, Akron, but we actually can sell nationwide, even internationally on some of these products. So please, yes, just reach out and we can get your questions answered. Do you install and train? Yes, we can. I will note though, quite a few of these products require very little in terms of installation, and then also very minimal training. So depending on your needs, yes, and our goal is to make sure that your implementation is seamless. So we absolutely can support you with install and training. Last common question, how do we get started? We just usually begin with a virtual meeting to collaborate with you, assess your needs, your budget, and then we make our honest recommendations. If we meet with you and it doesn't seem like it would be a good fit for whatever reason, that's totally okay. The solution needs to be best for you, your facility, your people. We pride ourselves on being honest and never upselling. And if you have a grant, or something like that, we of course can work through all those hoops and loops to make sure that we get you taken care of. All right, that's the end of it. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I want to thank you for your time. Again, I'm Lindsay Blackburn. We can be reached at teamdrivemind.com or directly by email, info@teamdrivemind, and asking any questions or arranging a meeting. We are ready to rock. I'm on the other side of that email address. I appreciate your time very much. Take care. Bye-bye.